Welcome back to the Eerie Experience, horror fans. Today, we're diving into the chilling true story behind one of the most iconic horror movies of all time, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Grab your popcorn, because this is going to be a spine-tingling ride. A menacing figure haunts the dreams of teenagers, his burned face and razor-sharp glove, leaving a trail of terror. This chilling occurrence has captivated horror fans for decades, making Nightmare on Elm Street a timeless classic. A Nightmare on Elm Street was released in 1984 and introduced us to the terrifying character Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund. Directed by Wes Craven, the movie quickly became a horror classic, spawning sequels, a TV series, and a remake. But did you know that the inspiration for Freddy Krueger and the film's premise came from real-life events? To understand the origins of Freddy Krueger, we must first delve into the dark inspirations that fueled Wes Craven's imagination. Our journey begins with a series of mysterious and fatal events known as Asian Death Syndrome. Follow along as we reveal the real tale of Nightmare on Elm Street. In addition, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button for more terrifying tales. The Cambodian refugee incident. One dark evening in the late 1970s, a teenage refugee from Cambodia arrived in Los Angeles, having just fled the atrocities of the Khmer Rouge's farms. The boy's family had dreamed of a fresh start, away from the horrors of their history. But the small child was about to face a new kind of dread that would follow him into his dreams. The youngster started to have horrible nightmares as he attempted to adjust to his new life. He spoke of an evil force following him, and he thought it would capture him if he slept. To his parents' dismay, he went days without sleeping, since he was determined to stay awake. They made an effort to comfort him by assuring him that it was all in his dreams and that he was now secure. How would you cope if your child was too terrified to sleep? Eventually, the boy's body gave in one night, and he went to sleep. His parents were happy that the worst was behind them, but it was his screams that woke them up in the middle of the night. When they got to his side, he was shaking on his bed, his face twisted with fear. It was too late by the time they got to him. He had passed away. Wes Craven was moved by this unfortunate tragedy, which was covered by the LA Times. It struck a deep chord with him that a child might be so afraid of his nightmares that he would sooner die than go to sleep. This tale served as a major source of inspiration for Nightmare on Elm Street, the Asian Death Syndrome. After the death of the Cambodian kid, a number of similar incidents started to surface. 10 cases of sudden, unexpected nocturnal death syndrome, SUNS, among Southeast Asian refugees in the United States, were documented by the CDC between October 1, 1986 and April 30, 1988. Every victim, who was between the ages of 19 and 57, went into cardiac arrest while they were asleep. Although stress was thought to be a component, the precise causes were yet unknown. These unexplained deaths gave the imaginary story Craven was crafting a hint of real-world dread. Craven's inspiration. Craven used more than just actual occurrences as inspiration for Freddy Krueger. His own experiences were also very important. Craven used to see a scary, shadowy figure look at night through his bedroom window. The man's unsettling actions made a deep impression on young Craven, which ultimately impacted the development of Freddy Krueger. Furthermore, Freddy Krueger was taken from the name of a school bully who had tortured Craven when he was younger. Because of their intimate relationship, Freddy Krueger gained more evil motivation, becoming more than just a character and a representation of Craven's own boyhood anxieties. Through the combination of personal nightmares, real-life horror stories, and cultural worries, Wes Craven created a story that struck a deep chord with viewers. Nightmare on Elm Street evolved into more than just a movie. It became a terrible portrayal of concerns that people of all ages have. disguised in the persona of Freddy Krueger, cultural context and impact. Nightmare on Elm Street not only tapped into primal fears, but also reflected anxieties. During the 1980s, the concept of stranger danger was at its peak, with widespread fear of pedophiles and sex offenders lurking in seemingly safe suburban neighborhoods. Craven used these societal fears to build the film's setting, portraying a normal neighborhood threatened by an unseen evil. With his burned face adding to his frightening image, Freddy Krueger was a rather chatty and taunting character, in contrast to most horror villains of the era who wore masks and stayed mute. The character's inherent horror is enhanced by his weapon, a glove with razor-sharp claws that was intended to arouse anxieties about knives and predators. The impact of Freddy Krueger's appearance. Freddy Krueger's grotesque appearance is one of the most memorable and impactful aspects of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy's burned face, razor-tipped glove, and worn fedora have become synonymous with fear. But how exactly has his appearance influenced audiences? Wes Craven designed Freddy's appearance to be as horrifying as his actions. The burns covering his face tell a story of pain and vengeance, making him a figure of nightmare both literally and figuratively. Sharp-edged gloves are another important component of Freddy's scary appearance. The glove gave Freddy the distinctive weaponry that set him apart from previous horror movie villains, which was exactly what Craven desired. Freddy's fedora and red and green striped sweater are the final touches to his iconic look. Craven chose these elements to make Freddy stand out in the world of horror villains. This made Freddy more relatable and therefore more terrifying. He wasn't a monster from a distant realm. He was a horrifying figure who could be lurking in the shadows of your own neighborhood. What was your first reaction to seeing Freddy Krueger? Freddy Krueger's appearance is designed to disturb on multiple levels. The burns evoke pain and suffering. The glove represents a lethal threat, and his overall image blends the familiar with the monstrous. This combination creates a complex, multi-layered fear that lingers long after the movie ends. But ask yourself this: could there be a Freddy Krueger lurking in the recesses of your own dreams? What unseen terror waits for you in the darkness behind your eyelids? Imagine for a moment the shadow at the end of your bed growing longer, reaching out for you. The faint sound of metal scraping against metal in the distance. Is it your imagination? Or is it something far more sinister? And that's a wrap-up of our deep dive into the true story behind Nightmare on Elm Street. This story, blending real-life horror, personal nightmares, and cultural fears, has captivated and terrified audiences for decades. Whether it was a clever creation or something more sinister, it shows the power of storytelling and its ability to tap into our deepest fears. Remember, while it's fun to be spooked, always approach these stories with a critical mind. Thanks for exploring the terrifying impact of Freddy Krueger's appearance with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more chilling content. Sweet dreams, if you dare. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below.